regulatory standpoint, 2026 is already shaping up to be one of the biggest resets Formula One has seen in years. But putting the spreadsheets and power unit politics aside, there is something genuinely exciting happening from a purely aesthetic point of view. Smaller cars, more visible mechanical intent, more aero-driven surface changes, and yes, even an overtake button all add up to a very different canvas for designers. Livery design, at its best, has always been form following function, and 2026 feels like a season where the function is finally doing some of the heavy lifting again. One of the most quietly influential rules is the requirement that 55% of the visible bodywork from the side and top must be covered. In other words, no more full carbon fibre stealth modes justified purely by weight saving. That single line in the rulebook already guarantees more colour, more intent, and fewer apologetic blacked out cars pretending to be design choices. The first team out of the gate was RedBull Racing, and their response feels deliberately reassuring. With Ford returning to Formula One, the team leaned into a retro sensibility without slipping into pastiche. The Ford logo is integrated rather than imposed, sitting comfortably within a darker blue field that uses subtle gradients and texture instead of flat, sponsor-first placement. It feels considered, not transactional. This is particularly noticeable when contrasted with recent examples of logo application that felt more like late-stage additions than design decisions. Here, the badge belongs. It responds to its surroundings, both in colour and scale, and reads as part of the car rather than something applied to it. RedBull also introduced a slightly retro take on their own identity. The white offset on the RedBull logo recalls earlier eras without abandoning recognisability. It is familiar but softened, and it plays well with the more complex surfaces of the new car. Perhaps the most telling decision, though, is the return to a gloss finish. In an era where matte has often been justified by grams saved rather than aesthetics gained, choosing gloss is a statement. Yes, it adds weight, and no, it does not seem to concern them. The result is a car that immediately evokes memories of the Vettel era, not because it copies it, but because it shares the same confidence. Gloss makes the forms read better, the colours deeper, and the whole object more intentional. Visually, the livery does a solid job of managing the new proportions. The yellow circle and charging bull remain the focal point, cleverly used to visually shorten the longer nose. Carbon fibre is still present, but only where needed, helping certain shapes disappear and allowing the main volumes to read more cleanly. Of course, liveries are not meant to be judged on stage lighting and carefully controlled renders. The real test comes on track under harsh sun, grime and motion, ideally somewhere like Barcelona if secrecy allows. The car will almost certainly evolve from what we have seen so far. Still, as a first statement, this is a confident one. Call it a 4 out of 5. Mission accomplished.
This is a new project and very much a work in progress. Researching, writing, animating and editing takes time, especially when it sits outside the day job. If you enjoyed this, a like, a share or a follow goes a long way towards making more of these possible.